Hey guys, it's Eric from D&E in the Garage. As you saw in my last video when I was getting rid of the Forester, I bought a 2010 Chevy Traverse. This is a 2010 Chevy Traverse LT model with 7-passenger seating with the 2 captain chairs in the center. It has 2 sunroofs, Bluetooth, remote start, and rear view camera. It has the optional 18-inch alloy wheels and has a 3.6 VVT, I believe is the Chevy motor, transverse mounted V6 motor. Okay guys, so now I am driving Traverse, and it's kind of hard to tell, I don't know if you can pick up on it, but one of the things I find the downside of driving this car is that the motor is quite noisy. During cold startups, which I'll have a clip, you can hear that the injectors are very noisy, and it's just generally the motor's not a quiet motor. Overall road noise is quiet. It's smooth on the road. It doesn't really have a lot of, I guess you can't hear the ground a lot from other cars I've had. Handling of the car, it handles like a smaller car, I won't lie. It's a very easy car to drive. It happens to have all-wheel drive, this model, and makes it great in the weather and in pretty much all road conditions. It helps handling, and it's easy car to drive. I will say, for how big it is, it's not a problem of me driving it. Now, one thing that I'll note is that the power of the V6, I don't know if it's the motor itself or the transmission in this car, but it's a little lacking. I mean, considering you have a car that doesn't really get the greatest fuel economy, and it's a 7-passenger car, you expect to have a little more, I guess, oomph in it. I know when I put this car in drive or park, it currently doesn't roll, which I found very unnerving as a car guy. Every time you put a car into drive or reverse, you expect it to move. It's how it's ever been in any car I've ever owned, unless, I mean, any car. It's just, once you get the rotational mass of the flywheel connected to the torque converter, it starts putting some pressure onto the differentials to move the car. And this car didn't, I guess, have enough, or the torque converter's not tight enough, which the factory installed in this car, to do so. And it made me feel that maybe there's something wrong with the car. Now, I know there's nothing wrong with the car personally. I just saying that I think in the Chevy design world, it was a poor design trait to give the car. Now, this model year lasts from 2009 to 2012, and I would have shot for the 2012 model or newer, because they actually updated the 3.6 motor to have bigger oil passages, which is a big thing, because they had problems with the motor starving for oil beforehand, and it just would eat, the motor essentially eat itself. And now this car here, actually I bought with a Chevy replacement motor, and it's the updated block, which has the big oil passages. It makes a big difference, at least for the longevity of the car. Now, I have seen a couple of them out there on Facebook, on Craigslist, that have gone to 186, 245,000 miles. So longevity is still a question for me. But the general feeling I've gotten so far in the car is that it's going to be a high maintenance, high dollar car to maintain over the time. In the short time I've owned it, I have replaced the alternator, the fuel line, a couple other pieces, a downpipe, and I already put about probably close to $500 into the car. And that's not including anything else I would need to do in the near future. One of the bigger downsides is that I've been driving Subarus for pretty much all my life, and a bunch of other cars, and I've always been able to get higher than EPA standards for the gas mileage of the car. You know, it's all in how you drive the car. You can hypermile a car and you can get better gas mileage. This one, I cannot. It's getting barely the EPA standards in my town, and you can see right now, I'm doing my drive home from work, and I'm doing 45. I went up one big hill, and that was about it. I'm coasting now, and it barely gets 16 miles per gallon. So I would say on the economic side, based on the cost of maintenance and fuel economy, it's not good. It's over time you spend a lot of money with this car, and it's something I don't want to eat. It's just something I don't like. Okay guys, for going for the interior of the car, it's not bad. It does have hard plastics here on the dash and on the side panels. It does have some soft leather touches here. I know a lot of users of cars don't like that nowadays. They want a little more luxury in their car. To me, when you're buying a family car like this is a benefit. This is something you do need, because you're going to have a dog, you're going to have a kid, you're going to want something, you just take a cloth and wipe whatever crap they get on there. And, you know, it's a big thing to me, is that, like, I need something that's durable. But elsewise, I mean, the seats are comfortable. They definitely, I can sit a couple hours in them, no problem, like I said before. And I can drive in. With me, I have plenty of room. I'm not a very tall guy, but I'm 5'6", and I can move the seat plenty forward and get the person behind me way room and still be very comfortable in driving the car. And same thing with my wife. She's a short person, but like, I was set up for more of a 6-foot person. My brother was sitting here the other day, and I could still even drive it. It's just still a little more in reach. Visibility for the car, honestly, I'll give props to Chevy that when you're driving the car, it doesn't feel as big as it actually is. It doesn't feel like I can actually fit 7 people comfortably in the car. I don't have a lot of blind spots up here. I mean, yeah, towards the edge here, you kind of round it off. You don't know what's in the lower corners. But the mirrors, actually, I'll show you in a little bit, have little blind spot protectors, and on the corner of the mirror you can see around like the next lane, and the mirrors are big and long. I do have a problem up here. During snow and the rain, the windshield wiper doesn't reach all the way up to the edge of the windshield, and it does cause actually a rather big blind spot when driving in snow. The dash of itself, the gauges and everything up here, I like it. They give you a temp gauge, they give you a battery meter gauge. Then you have 4 buttons on the dash here. Let me bring you a little closer, you can see what I'm looking at. So for the dash of the car, I feel that it's very nice. I mean, it's not fancy by any means. It's very basic, but that makes driving the car very easy. You have full steering controls here. You have currently all your radio controls on this side of the steering wheel, and then you have cruise control on the left side. The radio is very simple. There's a volume knob in the center, and I feel that it makes operating it very easy and natural to the hand. Same with the air conditioning controls. There's just 3 button knobs, and they work. I do feel they're lacking in cigarette lighters for the car. They don't seem to include enough. There's only one up here for the whole entire driver compartment, which for me, I mean, I've always got a GPS, and I have something for music, usually running something different, and it just doesn't work. The other thing that I do find a problem with this car is the Bluetooth connection. And maybe a lot of people mention it, but the Bluetooth connection for this car currently only works for phone functions, meaning I'm calling someone or if I'm using Siri, and Siri's kind of hit or miss on my Apple product. But it's strictly built just so you can make phone calls. Making phone calls on it is great, don't get me wrong. It works perfectly fine, it works well. It doesn't show any problems of not being able to let people hear me. You can pick up road noise and it's still good. It's not a problem. One of my favorite features I do like is that up here in the mirror, let me just start the car for you, is that the rear view camera is up here. Now, in a lot of modern cars, it's down here, and I don't think that's right. Up here is more intuitive. I feel more like I'm actually backing up. I even can still see what's behind me through the actual mirror, the video on the mirror, which is a very big thing. It just feels just more intuitive to have it here than down here. I can still look in my mirrors, and then I still have my 3 points of mirrors that I'm always used to looking up when I'm backing up. So I think that was a very good design feature by Chevy. Some of the things I don't think was a good design feature by Chevy was this whole armrest console, which is kind of hard to see. Let me get you look down a little bit here. the armrest console, it moves, it's nice, it has rear air controls, it moves back and forth, but the compartments in it are not that great. You can't really see that, but it's just, I feel like they could have done better in the whole design of it. Like I was saying, the compartments aren't that great. You have this little guy, but there's no USB charger in there or audio input, and you know, you have this big bulky piece for not much, and then you have a little bucket area. So that just seems to me a little lacking. You at least could have put an extra cigarette lighter down there, or even up here, put the audio jack for the headphones, for the radio in there. But overall, the front driving cockpit area is not horrible. I get to see my tire pressure monitors very easily. I get to see fuel economy and stuff like that. Okay, so I am 5'6", and I'm a little more rotund than Douglas, and I got plenty of legroom. And I moved that seat back before, you saw it. It's definitely got plenty of legroom. I'm comfortable sitting here for the car seat. It's actually nice. I had my brother-in-law, who's 6 foot something, sit up front in the front passenger seat with my daughter's bucket car seat behind here, and there was plenty of room for him to sit. He was a little up in the knees, but he actually didn't adjust the seat like I told him to, and I adjusted on the way home, and he actually had a lot of room. Now, the seats do move back and forth, which is nice, but you can't get them really to lean back far, which I felt like is a downside for the car. You when you get passengers in here and you want to relax, you want to be able to maybe lean a little further back, especially if no one's in the back. You want to be just relaxed and have a nice, long, easy car ride. It does have rear heat and air controls here, which is nice, and one cigarette lighter. Again, not enough in the car. The one thing my Subaru had was I had 3 within 4 feet of me. I had one in the dash, one be inside the glove box, and one on the back. And that was really smart. I have the dual sunroofs, which is nice. It provides a lot of ample light. And then I do have the third row seat, which I'll try to show you that in a second. Okay, third row seat. I'm 5'6". This seat's leaned back a little bit, the max it can go, and I can sit here perfectly fine. Comfortable, a lot of room, it's not bad. If I was a little taller, my knees would hit with the seat leaned back, and it's not all the way back as far as it could, but there's plenty of room up front already. I'm a little chunkier. I feel like it'd only be good for 2 people my size, 3 if they're a little more on the smaller stature. I do believe that as a 7-row passenger, this SUV works the best I've found so far. It's comfortable, it's roomy, definitely could do everything you want it to do. I wish I had the full bench here. Now, it's a downside for this specific model because this one didn't have that option. There's an option for it. I think if I had it, I'd like this car a little better because then I could fold down this third row seat and have a regular five-seater SUV to drive around. Sometimes people like that, some people don't. I think I would have liked it a little better, and my wife kind of agrees with that, you know, I could still move a lot of stuff then, people and things. Say we're going on a beach trip and it's just me for that. I only have my family of 5 that we're bringing down with me to the beach, but then when we get there, I have people I want to carry around. I flip up and take all the stuff out, unload my stuff, and I could bring everything in the house, and then I have a full 7-seater that it's fully to my customization of what I like. But overall, I don't think the third seat's bad. I think this is more maybe a 6-seater than a 7-passenger. I mean, if you look, I'm already riding my knee across the halfway line for the second seat. I could see this back seat being uncomfortable after a couple hours. It is very rigid and stiff, and I don't think it leans much back at all, if any, back into the cargo area. But it's not horrible. Now, if I'm already here, and say no one's sitting next to me, I want to get into the seat, it's not hard. There's a little lever, and here it goes, it drops. And then you get into the cargo area. So I can go over here and show you, same thing. All one-handed motion. Now, this would have been that 5-seater cargo area, which would have been awesome, would have been great. 4-seater, it's still okay, you can carry 2 couples perfectly fine. But to me, it just would have been more useful for kids to have the bench seat. From here back is the cargo area, which I'm going to do a slow walk around the car after this and show you everything about it. It's a lot. It's a good amount to get a lot of stuff home at any point in time. If I went up to my in-laws for Christmas and had gifts and stuff, I could fit it all back there pretty much no problem, I would say. We also pack light, so that's kind of my thing. Elsewise, the window is a little small, but you know, you got the backup camera. That it makes up for it, but I can see pretty much everything I need to see out of it. Blind spots in the car, you do have a little bit in the back left and right, but again, the mirrors I'll show you have little blind spot protectors in them. So with that, shows you the second seat, the third seat. There is a lot of cup holes in the car. There's 2 on the doors up there. Actually, there's 4 on the 2 doors, and there's 2 back here, one on either side. There's no cigarette lighters back here, except in the way back here. Which, I mean, to me, they always put it there for tailgating, but it's hard to get to for elsewise. So, let's put everything back to normal configuration, and we'll give you a walk around. So, as I mentioned, there's plenty of room in the cockpit area for passenger and driver. Then, back here, I believe there's ample room. Here's that lever to fold it flat, and here's the lever to fold the seat up. Now you sometimes have to kind of, how did I get it go? Hold on, I got mine jammed up right now. It's usually very easy. Oh, because it was already too far forward, so like that, and you pull it, you see it pops, pull that up, and you all push it one hand and you can get in the back. Pretty easy. I will say the left side's a little easier on this car right now because I don't think many people use this side. But it goes back together real quick and tight. Cup holders, like I said before. So there we go on that side. Now the cargo area. Here's a review camera, just so you guys let you know. I think it's in a good spot. And that's the win for me here. It's a cargo space with 7 passenger. You could do a lot with this car. It's still pretty good. I mean, you're not near full Suburban, but I'm going to get to my whole point about that in a little bit. You got the tow hitch underneath the license plate. And it all works, in my opinion. So let's take a look underneath the hood. Alright, so this is one of my biggest gripes about this car. I like working on my cars, and I can't do it on this one. I could do some stuff, but not a lot. If you look at the motor, it is very much shoehorned in there. There's not a lot of room to work. I mean, like I said, I had to do the alternator, and that's way down here in this black hole. So I ended up sending it out to one of my buddies, and they did it for me, and got it replaced, but it took them even 3 hours with the lift, so it's a lot. Another thing is I had to recharge air conditioning, and the low pressure valve is all the way down here in this black hole. Kind of can see it, kind of can't. It's down there, and it's a pain. There's exhaust manifold right there, it gets very hot. Same with the oil filter, it gets very hot. Just not a good car to work on if you like working on your own cars. So, my overall review of this car, it's okay car. it's that middle of the road that's bland, and it's like it's almost having like a piece of dry toast. Why am I doing it? For me, there's a lot of winning features. It was cheap for me. I knew the person selling it. I got a deal on it. If you can get a deal on one for you, then that works for you. I had to put some money into it, and now I'm selling it. I'm making a little bit of money on it, and I'll be able to buy something else I want, like a Subaru Forester, and I'm going to wait out for a Subaru set, because if I'm at least getting a Subaru, I feel better myself, I guess. I don't know. A weird thing. But, like I said, it's like a piece of toast, nothing on it. It's middle of the road. It's a 7-passenger mom, dad SUV that will get the job done. If you want a family car, this is for you. Like, you can go get a Suburban, which I honestly am thinking about doing, because if I'm already getting 15.5 in a Traverse or 16, I can go get 14 in a Suburban, do a little work to get the 15, 16, because there's really not a lot of options to do things to this car to make it get better gas mileage. So with that, I don't know, I'm weighing all my options out, what I really want to do. I'm leaning more towards just getting a Subaru for now for my wife, and we'll be good there. But for if you want something with a little better gas mileage, not much, little, and a family passenger SUV that can tow people around with their crap and stuff, this is it. I would say, and not spend a lot of money. I mean, you can get one of these right now. I'm selling this for about $9,000, and that's what you pretty much will pay for it with about 100,000 miles on it, and that's a good deal. It's not like, if I had to go buy it personally myself, I'd probably want to pick this one just because I've had trouble with this one. But now that I fixed it, I might. Like, I drive it around, I wouldn't see any problems with it. My biggest problem is gas mileage. I've always been a gas mileage guy, and it's hard for me to swallow this big pill of a car to eat so much gas. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, well, what do you expect to get a car that big, not good gas mileage? Guys, it's 2019, even when this car was created, 2010. We had cars getting 30 miles per gallon in the 80s. I'm somehow mystified that we're not there with cars like this right now. It just needs better design work. That's all it is. And I thought I could beat the EPA standards, and I couldn't. Which means really this car is rated for lower than what it actually could do, in my opinion. But overall, Chevy had some good things and bad things, and I'm really leaning to more, it's just an okay car. It's nothing special. It's nothing great. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would, because I got the most money for the Forester I had at the time, and this was a good deal for me, and I'm going to make out in the end. The squawk box, and hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of my review of this car. I know I probably could have done better. This is like my 4th time filming it. But that was the best one I think I did so far. Alright guys, I'll catch you later.